I'm at Ogilvy's Mumbai office catching up with Ogilvy India CCO trio Sukesh, Nayak, Kainaz Karmakar and Harshad Rajadhyaksha about the year gone by and the ever-evolving advertising landscape. Welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you for having us, Shibani.
Thank you, Shibani.
So tell us more about, the year gone by. What were the key highlights? This is also the year where you got inducted into the board. So Sukesh, let's begin the conversation with you.
Three of us have a very clear agenda of we want to do work that actually people get to see and talk about and be surprised about. I think these are three factors that we have, and it's been a good year at recognition wise. It's been a good year business wise. We got some great accounts, like we got Google back after many years, and the work that has come out on that is also fundamentally quite interesting. So we're very excited and we're very lucky.
Yeah. Harshad, what is some of the work that you're really proud of in the past year, and tell us, what does it feel to have a voice on the board?
We are still figuring out what that role actually means, though we know that for three creative people who have grown up in this creative environment to be on the board, it is a sign of acknowledgement of how focused and how centric creativity is to our culture. And of course, the great thing is we are there with familiar faces. There's Heps Prem, who joined the board as CSO along with us. And of course, there's VR Heps Hufrish. So together, I think all of us have such a great working equation over the years. We have been working colleagues and friends. So I think all in all, there's a feeling of us being in it together. And while only the three of us might have creative as a tag against our names, we are rest assured that everybody in there has creativity at the center, so that helps.
When we got put on the board, I thought it'll be something like Succession, We are going to decide like the fate and, topple something or whatever.
You purchased your corporate suit also.
Yeah. So we went to the board meeting and something got, some technical thing got spoken about. Somebody said yes, somebody said I seconded. The meeting was over in 3 minutes. And I was like, is this it? What is going to happen? So that's about the board, but hopefully I think as we go ahead it'll be more intense.
So if board members are listening, then you want longer meetings that last for like a couple of hours, don't you?
What I thought, like after this something will happen. They're like, okay, now we end the meeting. Like, what?
As far as work highlights, there are these 4-5 of our pieces which have consistently gotten recognized internationally.
When we went and presented the idea, they created a picture of me as a child. It was not funny, by the way. And they created a picture of Nitin as a child, and something we were in a story, and said, look, this is how they can do it. So it's great to see a presentation where you see yourself in the idea and saying, this could have happened to you and no one clicked this picture, so here we can do that. That's amazing. I think on Diwali was very interesting again, and we always want to have something that means something to people. And while we went and get a great idea of, you have to meet somebody and not just wish somebody on a message, which is the normal behavior, but we had to also, do something about it and not just talk about, a very larger than, life idea, which is great to look at as a film. Confirm seeds the beauty of that idea, and it won't happen. I just want to talk about Krishna and his team. It's a great concept that came up with the creative team. We all have seen waitlisted tickets never getting confirmed, but many credit to him and his team to go to IRTC and make sure that idea comes to life. Because, that is where the biggest conversion happens. Most of the ideas that we come up with, at times we also don't know how to do them. But when they are done, and when they are done in a proper way, and when you see a train compartment, fully skinned with confirmed seats on it, it's wonderful, as a photography, just as a touch point, and people who are pretty sure that they will not, and we did this again, like being Mondelez, we do across the country, different touch points. So festival for us, I think even Titan has been a great, it was at the same time, which came from Bangalore. So a lot of ideas that were beautifully built, and I think more than that, beautifully executed. And again, many thanks to the entire system that we have been building for the last 3 years. Because we know, the three of us know for certain that a lot of ideas. I'll talk about Happy Q, which is on Coke, which is such a simple idea. We've always seen festivals in India and it's big queues of people waiting to get in. So why can't you just, make the line in the shape of a Coke bottle and have lovely chilled Coke bottles and mist fans in the line being given to people while they wait to get inside to view it happen. It started at Ganpati here, went to Durga Puja in Calcutta. So when an idea works on ground level, the traction of that I can see, and this was the first time we did duplication of festivals. So Ganpati, Durga Puja, but both places will work because what people stand in queue to, let's say Ganpati, mandals here, Durga Puja, same thing.
Because you were true to the insight.
Yeah,
of,
so
the
I mean, we all have to stand in a line, and
Yeah.
that's how the crowd management is done. But can I make standing in line interesting? And it's a beautiful experience idea. And whoever has seen it, and their first reaction is, "Oh my God, it's so simple."
Kainaz, over to you. Okay, this was also an year where a lot of conversation around technology, around AI, around data, the shift from third-party data to first-party data, and then Google's U-turn again over there, and then, how Gen AI is transforming our lives, dominated, regular chats and conversations, business conversations, and so on and so forth. As a creative person, how much do you trust the data? And how much do you, go with your gut feel when it comes to, some of these campaigns, some of the executions of these campaigns?
No, so I think this AI and data is something, like you said, it comes up in every conversation that we've had. But for example, the image that AI generates, how good it is depends on the prompt. Who's writing the prompt? You're writing the prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the button still lies with you. It's going to be a terrific tool. We are seeing storyboards in PPMs that are made on AI. It's so good to explain exactly what you're going to shoot. It's almost as close to a shoot board that it can get.
And you would have invested otherwise a lot of time.
Otherwise,
on
a
it.
lot of time would have.
Rendering.
Yeah, but
Rendering,
time is one thing, but also opening up of possibilities. Like when we did Story of Us, it was the first text to animation done via AI. So I'm saying that it opens up possibilities that were not earlier open to us. And even data, depends on how you use data. Like data is a very interesting thing. All the great things, like sometimes, a film might end by saying that, did you know 1 in 4 women, this happens to that. 1 in 4 women is a data point. But what you do with it.
But have you arrived upon a point where, the data suggested you to go in this direction, but your gut suggested that, okay, I want to take this?
That happens every time something gets
Any
researched.
campaign or any example that you would like to share?
So not data, but data in a way, but I think more research. So when we did, some years back, we did this campaign on saving water for Unilever, where we put a shower in the middle of a desert.
Yes, I remember that very well.
So we had done a lot of research on that, and the data was the fact that the amount of water a city person uses to take a bath, a small village, at least half the village's thirst can be quenched in that. Now, there was another data point which came after research, which said that people are not excited by this, people are not understanding by this, and a lot of part of the country, this problem doesn't even exist. And here I give credit to our client Harman and Priya Nayak. Despite that data, they said, no, we will run this film because we all feel great about it in our gut. And we ran the film, and it did beautifully for them. It got a lot of, it was one of the first ad films to win a national award as well. So it did really well for, and I am a huge believer in gut. I feel that you already know it.
It is time for a short break. This conversation will continue. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You touched upon using AI in the creative process. Harshad, if you can also further elaborate on, how has AI enhanced your creative process at Ogilvy? How are your teams using AI, for your day-to-day work?
So on the day-to-day, of course, while, by nature of all our teams, and this cuts across beyond our creative teams, so many of our youngsters in account management as well as planning. It could be as simple as the standard planning template which sets up the strategy at every meeting. We have had plans complement our teams on the sheer visual appeal of those planning boards, let alone creative. So I think there's a inherent curiosity, especially I think it like with any embracing anything new, it comes from the youngest of our lot. So all our youngsters, of course, across creative and across planning and account management, they have started dabbling in it even before it became like a conscious thing. Of course, with WPP and Ogilvy at a larger level, they have put in place training modules. So we are doing it with batches. So there are tools which, there are sessions which our youngsters can do. Hopefully, we can also take time out and get into some of them. So those are welcome, directions that we are taking. And it has started, I would say, it has started leading to a lot of experimentation. Kids had anyways been doing it on their own. They were trying out, my friend introduced me to so-and-so app on my iPhone, let me try and do a generative AI 2-minute clip. Sometimes they did it for fun like the rest of the consumers do. It could be a face swap idea. It could be like, a sound swap idea. But the beauty of it is when the first year of what took the version of AI that took the country by storm, which was SRK My Ad. I mean, people had interacted with a technology like that as, just having fun and putting dialogues in their faces. But suddenly when you put the kind of generosity purpose that SRK did with catering to the small shopkeeper, it just opened up people's minds that there are so many forms of AI which we can just apply to this. Just as a creative person, I think AI, and I think Kainaz touched upon this, at an AI level, these are the same tools that are available to our clients. They are available to marketeers. They are available to, let's say, hypothetically, an automobile engineer, say, Leke. They are available to a mechanic, to whoever. That doesn't mean they'll come up with the same, the same product and the same result and the same cutting edge creativity. That's where the mind that's handling that tool comes into play. So what AI allows us to do probably, and I've seen this in action, is sometimes AI can generate that vision or those words. It will at least tell you that if a machine which kind of just, gets in together information and spits out something which is its version of creativity, if a machine can do it, I have to go 6 leagues better than this. So it tells you what to eliminate. It tells you probably, it already eliminates those first steps of mediocrity, that if AI can just give you this much, anybody can do this. What do I do beyond?
Yeah.
So I think that's
But
where it's made a big
what she
difference.
talked about, see, I think the interesting part here is like, paintbrush everyone had, paint everybody had, but why do some people have better painting skills than it's your skill of what you're using, I mean, everybody has a camera. You can take pictures, right? But some people take better picture. But I feel what we have on this side of the table, and see, democracy of technology is amazing. Everybody has the same tool. So today, if you look at reels, I really feel some of the reels are damn creative. They're amazing. They're funny because people always had it in them. Yeah. Just didn't have the source to express it, or or platform to create it.
Yeah. Now they have the platform.
Yes.
They
So
have the
I
source.
feel people who have the creative skills, and not just advertising agencies, I think they will use AI to do great stuff.
Yeah.
So if you have the skill set, so what we need to inculcate is a habit of play, explore, and have the vision to think what you can do with this.
But, over the past 1 or 2 years, we have seen, because creativity has been democratized by AI, by technology, we've also seen a lot of direct-to-consumer brands setting up their own in-house advertising agencies, large FMCG companies also setting up their own, in-house setups, in-house creative agencies. So how do you stay relevant as Ogilvy, as this traditional creative agency which is Ogilvy? Or do you look at yourself as a traditional creative agency at all?
Not at all. I think, so very interesting question. What, it's been 4 years for us? 3 years? How long has it been?
4 years. February 2020 when I
So,
spoke to
4 years
three of you.
You're the first chat
First
we had.
and the last, I believe, the physical conversation
Yes.
that we had,
Before
because
we
after
corrected
that the
COVID
world
down.
shut down.
So 4 years, I remember very, very clearly when we got this opportunity. We were in Goa and this was announced, and 3 of us were sitting with Piyush and Reed, and our conversation was, Reed is our Asia Pacific CCO, and said, what do you want us to do? We said, and I remember Piyush said, look, it's very simple. It's a ship that has created the most amazing body of work. Your job is to steer it in the directions and waters that will come, and your waters will be different from ours. So, and I think three of us are very clear that we will do work that will make people think, what is Ogilvy? Yeah, Ogilvy must surprise you. Ogilvy's work must surprise you. Ogilvy's work must make you say, hey, I want to work with these people. And coming to a question you asked earlier, see, it's a democratic world. Brands can hire people from agencies and make them work on their own brand. Perfectly fine. I just have one point of view on that, which is, for some it may be easier because when you have a voice on the table inside the company, then probably your voice is. So I think the biggest advantage we have is the voice on table when we sit across the table. People listen to us because of the body of work we bring to the table. So I feel many people lack that. So maybe the in-house agencies, because you're a part of your own company, and maybe you have a bigger voice than, let's say, being a partner on the other side. So I hope it propels them to doing great work, and we love great work coming from anywhere, by the way. So whether it's us or anybody, we're the first people to call people, by the way. We're the first people to congratulate people, and we believe that we must celebrate good work coming from anywhere. And if we like something from, let's say, someone who's not even an agency, we would love to have the person on board with us if they are willing to come join us. So I think that it's great to see what work will happen. And I think I'm very positive. I feel that maybe those who are setting up an in-house agency, I hope they enable and empower them and not make them toe the line. If you make them toe the line, then you will not get, because sometimes you have to have an outside consultancy to just open your eyes and vision, maybe. Or sometimes you have probably more power being inside to do great work. So let's see. We're more than happy.
So, Kainaz, the second part of the question, I want to ask you, whether do you perceive yourself as a traditional creative agency? How does the world perceive you today, and what do you want to be perceived as?
We want to be perceived as the greatest creative place to work in. That's all. It doesn't matter whether it's traditional, whether it's AI generated work, or whether it's data driven work, whether it's design work. We want to be the greatest creative agency that was, and that's the only vision to have. Now, as far as being, what if people perceive you as legacy agency, or do people perceive you as a new age agency?
Do you look at legacy as a burden at all?
That's exactly what I'm going to say, that when your legacy is Fevicol and Asian Paints and Cadbury Shimona, that is like a blessed legacy to have. The question is that going ahead, where are we taking it? So what Piyush did in his time was he did the most breakthrough work. No, and Piyush didn't show the way to Ogilvy. Piyush showed the way to the industry on how breakthrough work is being done. Now that the three of us are taking it forward, we are trying to do it in our own way. Piyush had his own way, we're trying to do it in our own way. So, and Piyush always tells us, legacy is not a bad word. And I agree with it, because our legacy is like stunning. So, and I had nothing to do with it. So I just inherited it.
How do you compete with a CX specialist, a media specialist, a creative specialist, a PR specialist, and holding companies getting all of these together? Like that's
like
specialist talent and bringing them all together into one agency. How do you compete with that?
No, you don't compete. You don't compete with them. So I think the very interesting question.
Yeah.
Without an idea, all of this is meaningless. Without an idea, these are all merely day-to-day transactions that will, of course, monetize us. That will, of course, be profitable if you're running that business model. I'm talking about my business model. Our business model is the idea business. So like I said, we have built our own ecosystem, and we have curated and beautifully, empowered the team. Today, our creative teams work so fantastically because they know if there's a concept, it will be done. If they need a boat to skip timeline, there will be a boat. If you need to create pictures that were never created, it can be done. So our creative teams have changed. Our creative structure has changed by adding new partners into it. But our vision is still the same. Our work has to be at the forefront of creativity.
Shibani, I'll just add, and if you look at history, if you look at anything ever, in any field, people remember the specialists. They never remember the aggregators.
Yeah, the general people. But
we don't want to be aggregators. We are specialists. We will get everybody on board to do what we have to do. But our competition is not with somebody who's getting everyone on board. Our competition is on, let's have that idea that everybody wants to collaborate with us.
I'll give you a statement. I want to be the most creative shop of WPP. I want to be the first phone call of WPP. Very clear. If I'm on TCC, I want to be the company which is considered to set up a concept that is, of course, built together. Because today, for example, I may not have an expertise, like you said, of doing something. But to set up something or to start something, you need to get the big idea in place. So I would love to be, and our ambition is to be in our parent company, the most loved, the most favored, the most cherished. And we are very happy to work with all our brothers and sisters because that's how family runs.
Great.
But we are very, and actually we learn a lot, by the way. So, we have been doing global projects in last 7, 8 months. And it's amazing to collaborate with VML, by the way. It's amazing to meet AKQA and work with them because what they bring to the table, I don't even know 1% of it. But I know what I can bring to the table, which they would love to use to make their 100% happen.
Sure. Harshad, your thoughts on this? You've been awfully quiet.
No, I was just waiting because they were summing up a lot of the things that we are talking about. But I think these past 4 years have taught us a few new ways of expanding our horizon. The great thing is the culture is seeping down into every small component of our teams. So not just, within Ogilvy collaborations, but the amount of collaborations that we are willing to do, as long as, like they described, there's a central pillar around which the whole structure has to be built. So the ecosystem that you need to activate, as long as we know that the central core pillar around which a campaign that is going to be built, we have created the central pillar, and now the sheer amount of partners that we need to take this activation down to every grassroots level. We have a lot of experts where Ogilvy probably cannot do what they bring to the table. We have our media partners. We have, they will give ideas how this thing can be amplified. So I think those are components of the things which we are more than happy to embrace because we knew that we can't go the distance alone. They will bring in fresh perspective. They will teach us ways to harness technology to take that message ahead. But as long as it cannot compromise the brilliance of the core message that Ogilvy is responsible for. So which we are happy with.
Great. All the best for that. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
With that, it's a wrap. Goodbye.